Good evening. We are discussing regarding strategies of planning, and in this session let's discuss regarding objectives of planning. Kindly listen to me very carefully. Every word is really important. During this discussion, apart from discussing about the objectives of planning, I would like to show you some questions also. So, which are the probable questions in the forthcoming examination, and that will give you enough practicing. So, let's begin our topic. Today's topic is the objectives of planning. In yesterday's session, we understood that whenever we are planning, we should have an objective. Objective is nothing but a desired goal. Without goal, without objective, there is no planning. Once planning is there, then the strategies will come into the picture. This is what exactly we have understood in the earlier class. In today's session, let's look at the objectives of planning, meaning why India has adopted planning. What happened before 1947? I have explained to you earlier. What is happening after 1947? That we are going to discuss in an elaborate manner in the form of 5-year plans. And regarding 5-year plans, we will be discussing in the next session. But today's session will be dedicating to objectives of planning. Meaning is simple: why planning in India, why we have adopted for the planning. Each one we are going to discuss very elaborately. Every point is important for the examination. I'm really the touching the in-depth analysis of everything. So this will be definitely helpful to you for any forthcoming examination. Clear? So when you look at the planning, objectives of planning, just a minute. Yes. So the first objective is to acceleration of growth rate. This is what we have understood in earlier class. Before 1947, the economic growth rate was just 1%. And this was all because of the British rule. Especially the last phase of the British rule spoiled the Indian economy like anything. And mere 1% is not sufficient for any country like India. That is the reason why our government, our Prime Minister has adopted the concept of planning system, and this planning we have taken from the directive principles of state policy as enshrined in the Constitution of India. This is what we have understood. But overall planning concept we have borrowed from USSR. You have to remember every point. Next one, expansion of the employment opportunities. If more people are employed, then more people will be earning. As the people are earning, they will have the capacity to spend. When you are spending, you are giving money and you are taking the products and services. So when you are consuming the products and services, then the companies will produce more products and the companies will extend more of its services. This is the cycle it will happen in a healthy economy. That is the reason why you should have employment, plenty of employment opportunities in a country. And India adopted the objective of full employment for the people in India, and that will be helpful for economic growth. That is nothing but expansion of employment opportunities. Number 3, modernization of economy. Right? So as long as you are going through the this obsolete methods of the technology, then that will not be helpful much. That is the reason why we have to modernize the things. That is the reason why even in agriculture also we started using machines. That is called mechanization of agriculture. Earlier, right, of course, even today also, some people are using bullocks. Clear? So for the purpose of the plowing the land. But over a period of time, Because of this modernization, we got the new tools for the purpose of plowing the land. So it becomes easy and it's safe also. Clear? So that is modernization of economy. Next, promotion of social justice and reduction of inequalities. And the ultimate aim is the equality. Social equality, economic equality, political equality. Highest priority has been given to social justice. Everybody should be treated equally. That is possible only when everybody is provided with equal opportunities. Right? So once you have the opportunities, you have the capacity to earn. So once the people have started earning, that will lead to the reduction of the gap. Clear? Now, next is the sustainable economic growth. What is the sustainable economic growth? If we grow our economy for 1 year or 2 years, that is not sufficient. Right? If you look at countries like India, our population is increasing very rapidly. So our economy, the system what we have, that should support the population, the growing population. That is possible only by sustainable economic growth, meaning our economic growth should continue like that. And it should increase year by year to accommodate all the people in the economic system. Clear? Next, self-reliance. What is the meaning of self-reliance? As long as you are depending on some country for the purpose of imports and everything, then obviously you are not relying on you. When I say self-reliance, we have the resources. We have the capacity to produce certain things. So when you have the capacity to produce certain things, then obviously you are generating money. So when your economy is such a strong position, if you import something also, what is not available in our country, if you are importing also, because we are self-reliant, we are in a position to pay. Very, 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 very important. That is called self-reliance. Remember very clearly, please write down, self-reliance is not the absence of imports, not the stoppage of imports. In self-reliance, we have imports, but we have the capacity to pay for the imports. That is called self-reliance. When you are importing, you have to pay. When you are exporting, you will receive. But when it comes to self-reliance, you have the capacity to pay for your imports. Am I clear? So that is self-reliance. Next is economic stability. The economy has to be stable. There should be no inflation. Inflation will badly affect the entire system and the people will suffer very badly. Similarly, employment opportunities must grow, industries must grow, agriculture must be sustainable, then only that is considered to be economic stability. Without too many disturbances, economy has to move forward. That is called economic stability. Am I clear? Now, so this is about the the points regarding objectives of planning. Now let's go ahead and discuss more regarding this, and I would like to show you some questions. Then we'll continue with our discussion. Look at this. First question what I have given here is the which of the following is are the objectives of the Indian planning. Just now I have discussed with you regarding various points under the objectives, meaning various objectives of our planning. Now please look at ABCD and choose one of the options. Your option may be 1, 2, 3 or 4. Is that clear? Now, when the questions are like this, I have a suggestion for you, my dear friends. When you have questions like this, 4 statements are given. A, B, C, D are given. Now, before you start reading statement A, B, C, D in the examination, you please go through 1, 2, 3, 4. You look at all the options and try to find out whether whether, not a compulsion, whether any of the statements is common in all the options. If I look very clearly, I find statement B is common. It will not take much time for you, my dear friends, because I am explaining you, because I am drawing something here. It is taking some time, but in the examination it will not take much time. With a single glance you will come to a conclusion. So when B is present in all the four options, then B must be correct. That is the reason why you need not read B at all. Don't waste time in the examination. Since you are very sure, because B is present in all the options, you need not read B. Am I clear? So you have reduced your, this reading burden. Instead of reading 4 statements, you are going to read only 3 now. Alright? So now we'll see whether is there any possibility of elimination of something. Number 1 of the objectives is, we don't know whether it's correct or not, to achieve rapid economic growth rate. Yes, that is very much correct. Is that okay? So because a option is correct, definitely, because statement A is correct, definitely option 2 is not our answer, because we don't have A in option number 2. Right? We have eliminated one option. Now we are left with only 3 options. Clear? Next. Right? Now, if you look at the C, modernization of economy. Yes. So we know that A is correct. Already we have decided B is correct without reading. When it comes to C, so this is also correct, we understood. So A, B, C are correct. So then obviously 3 is not my answer. Yes. So these are the strategies. Now you are a better person to understand the meaning of the word strategy. Clear? So these are the strategies to be adopted in the examination hall. Because you have to reach your goal, objective is there. You had a plan. During this implementation, strategies are coming into picture. Now you are implementing this. So 2 is not your answer. Option 3 is not your answer. It should be either 1 or 4. Clear? If you reduce options like this, you are reducing the burden. Now, when you come to see promotion of social justice and reduction of inequalities of income and wealth is another objective of our planning. Right? So, D is also correct. So, obviously my answer is not option 1, not option 1, not option 2, not option 3, but option 4 is our answer. That's it. You have come to a conclusion. Now, if you want to read statement B for the purpose of reading, you can read now. In the examination hall, you need not read because you want to save your time. Now, look at option statement B. Expansion of employment opportunities also one of the objectives of our planning. That is the reason why the whole reading and answering, meaning bubbling, can be completed by you within 45 seconds. You are not even spending 1 minute per question. You are reducing your time. That all comes to the practice. Am I clear? So our answer is, according to us, is option 4. Let's check whether it is correct or not. Obviously correct. Clear? Next, let's go ahead. Right. Next is the acceleration of growth rate. This is another objective. This is an objective of our planning. So one of the basic objectives of planning in India is to achieve rapid economic growth of the economy. Rapid growth of the economy. Why we have used the word rapid? Why our Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister of India, Shri Nehru, used the word rapid? because there are so many other countries in the world which have already developed. They have developed very rapidly. But if you look at India, we have got released just from the clutches of the British. We are in the year 1947. So we need to grow, we need to develop like anything. And that development should be rapid. That is the reason why, so our Indian planets adopted the concept called rapid economic growth rate. Very, 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 very important one. But what happened during British rule? The Indian economy was stagnant. Why? Because all our resources have been looted and they have been exported to, the UK. That is the reason why, though we got plenty of resources, those resources were not used by Indians, but they were exploited by the British. That is the reason why Indian economy was stagnant and suffered from high levels of poverty and deprivation. This is one of the main reasons why India is suffering, has suffered with the poverty and this deprivation that continued even for a long time. That continued for a long time even after our independence. Even today also, there is a large chunk of the population that is under poverty and facing the deprivation. Am I clear? Now, when it comes to British, they have exploited our economy and it was unjust colonial rule. Right? Next, let's go ahead. Look at this. Right. So when you look at the last phase of British rule, that is 1901 to 1946, our freedom movement was in full swing. Lots of Indian leaders, they were active, and we have started putting huge amount of pressure on the British. So during this period only, World War I and World War II were held. World War I, what is the year? 1914 to 1918. Okay, you already know that, I know. But, because, we got the opportunity to recollect something, revising something, we are recollecting. 1914 to 1918, World War I period. 1939 to 1945 is a World War II period, we know that. And during the last phase of the British rule, these two wars have been covered, right? And the growth rate of Indian economy was just around 1%. Just around 1% economic growth rate was there in India during the last phase of the British rule. What was the last phase? 1901 to 1946. Am I clear? Next, Indian economy was caught in low levels of income and poverty, and all the blame we have to throw on the British. Therefore, after attainment of independence, the planning system was adopted to achieve the goals of the economic growth and prosperity. Economic growth is the objective, prosperity is the objective. In order to achieve these objectives, we need a solid planning. That is the reason why, in order to go for the rapid economic growth, in order to achieve the prosperity, in order to achieve the social justice, in order to achieve the larger expansion of the employment, in order to achieve the sustainable economic growth, India has adopted the planning. Am I clear? Yes. Now, let's go ahead. Look at this. We have one more question. Now read the question slowly and carefully, and you are asked to consider the following statements. Meaning, read the following statements. So 3 statements are given, right? Out of these 3, minimum 2 are correct, 3 may be correct. Clear? Can we have any chance here to avoid reading any statement? Is there any statement which is present in all the 4 options? No. Right? So you have to read all the three statements. This possibility will be there if you have four statements. It may be there, maybe, not compulsion. Clear? Now let's read the first one. Planning as an instrument aimed at increasing national income and per capita income. Yes or no? Even yesterday's class also, during yesterday's class also, we have discussed that planning is an instrument for, that is aimed at increasing national and per capita incomes. Clear? So statement A is correct. Then obviously my answer is not option 2 because A is not there. Is that clear? Now let's read the second one. In the beginning. In the beginning means before we commenced the planning. At the time of planning, there was an assumption that planning would eventually reduce poverty and deprivation. That was the basic idea. That was the basic idea why we have adopted the planning, for the purpose of reduction and of the poverty and deprivation. So statement B is also correct. When I am sure my statement B is correct, then obviously this is not the correct one, because in option 3 I don't have B. Is that clear? So I have eliminated option 2 and 3. I am left with option 1 and option 4. That's it. If C is correct, my answer is option 4. If C is wrong, my answer will be option 1. That's it. Clear? Look at this. The planning would raise the standard of living of the masses. This is another important aspect of our planning. So when you are growing for the rapid economic development, when you are increasing your national income, when you are increasing your per capita income, that will lead to the increase or raise of the standard of living. Am I clear? So this is also correct. Since C is not here, option 1 is not my answer, and I am left with only option 4. That is my answer. This is how you have to, right? So move between the statements and the so-called options. This will come to you out of practice, right? So move very fastly, right? Your eyes are moving. Your eyes will be moving from statement to these options, but your brain is completely focusing on the question. Clear? When you are reading a question, your focus should be only on this question and don't read anything else. I repeat, don't think anything else when you are reading this question. Am I clear? Fine. Very, 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 very important for all the people who really want to be successful in the examination. Right? Now, let's look into more points now. So, what is our answer? Option 4 is our answer, and it is the correct answer. That's it. Now let's go ahead. Yes, we have one more question. Consider the following statements regarding the economic growth of a country. Regarding the economic growth of a country, consider the following statements. So only 2 statements are given. Either 2 may be correct, 2 may be wrong, 1 may be correct. So obviously 1 may be wrong. Let's read. Economic growth is achieved through continuous expansion of real national income. Is it right? Yes or no? In the earlier class also we have discussed, in the earlier question also we have discussed, economic growth can be achieved through continuous expansion of the real national income. What is real, what is nominal, we have already discussed in the earlier class. That is the reason why we have discussed a national income first, so that whatever we read in the later classes, that will become very easy for you to understand. Am I clear? So statement A is correct, right? So then only B I can remove. Neither A nor B also I can remove, because statement A is correct. So I have reduced my options to 2. Now I am left with one statement and two options. Economic growth is achieved through continuous expansion of real per capita income. Very important one. Once national income is increasing, per capita income is also increasing. Per capita income is increasing because there is an increase in the national income, right? So this is what we have understood. So statement B should also be correct. Then definitely my answer is not option 1. My answer should be option 3, because we came to know that both the statements are very much correct. Clear? So then what should be our answer? Option 3 should be our answer. My dear friends, again I would like to tell you, in the examination you have to focus more, right? So you have to stick, your brain has to stick to that particular question. Then immediately you will get the answer. Clear? So answer is option 3. So this is the correct answer for us. Over. Next. Look at this. But when it comes to, the increase of the national income, increase of per capita income, that may be possible because of the quantitative, this increase. Is that okay? That is called quantitative growth. But what we want in India, we also want the quality. That is the reason why we have discussed economic growth and economic development. Right? Economic growth means only quantity, but when it comes to economic development, it is both quantity and quality. Clear? Apart from the quantitative growth, qualitative aspects should also come into the picture. But what do you mean by these qualitative aspects? Improvement in the life expectancy. If life expectancy is increasing, means the quality is increasing, right? The standards are increasing and the facilities are increasing, technology is increasing, education is increasing, health facilities are increasing. When everything is increasing, that is called the quality. Clear? So that improvement we can see by increasing the life expectancy. At the same time, you should reduce infant mortality rate. What is IMR? We have already discussed. What is the the figure in India with respect to IMR? That also we have discussed. So please follow all the classes in the same sequence so that you will not have any confusion. Right? So life expectancy has to be increased. IMR has to be reduced. Literacy must be increased. Clear? Then that is considered to be the quality, and that quality has assumed the significance. Clear? Now this is a very important one I have given you. Tomorrow it may be a question in the examination. What is a capability approach? Who proposed this capability approach? Clear? Very important one. When it comes to capability approach, we are discussing about the quality. What do you mean by this quality? First of all, as a human being, I have to look at my capacity. When I am looking at my capacity and capabilities, I should also be looking at the functioning system. What do you mean by functioning? What do you mean by capability? I am going to tell you now. Listen to me carefully, like ever. So when I say capability approach, I am mentioning about the quality. Example, I'll give you an example. Today, I have a bike, scooty, bike or something I have. That is meant for the purpose of, the transportation, obviously. Clear? And large number of people in the rural areas, even today also they use cycle, of course in the urban areas also. So that, this is for the purpose of mobility. That is for the purpose of, transportation. I got a bike and I am moving on my bike. But what happens, moving on bike regularly and continuously, I may get exposed to the dust pollution. We know that. So when we are getting exposed continuously to the dust because of this pollution for various reasons, obviously our health will get affected. If my health gets affected, my routine will get affected. So I need to apply leave for my job, and my salary will be cut. And if the person is not going for the employment for long period, the person may be removed from the job. So this is happening because of the this going by the this overexposure to the this existing situations. But if I want to have the quality and if I have the capability to buy a car, I will buy a car. So that what will happen? Instead of going by bike to my office, I will be using car. So I can use AC and can close all the windows and I can travel safely. So that is my choice. So what is my capability? Right? So today I am here. If I have the capability, I will reach to a better quality place where I will be enjoying bigger material, so that I am improving my quality of life. That is called capability approach. Hope I am clear. My dear friends, am I clear? That's it. Clear? So now let's go ahead and I'll tell you more points regarding capability approach. But remember the examples that what I have given. Now again we have a question. Very important, very, very, very important. Who of the following is associated with the capability approach? Just now I told you what is capability approach. But who gave this capability approach? Mehbubul Haq, Pakistan? No. Muhammad Yunus, Bangladesh? No. Dr. Amartya Sen, Dr. C. Rangarajan? These are Indians. Clear? Very popular. All the four are very popular. But who gave the capability approach? Our answer is, please remember, option C, Dr. Amartya Sen. Regarding this great personality, we have already discussed earlier, and we also mentioned that that he is a recipient of a Nobel Prize in economics in the year 1998. That great personality has come out with the concept called capability approach, where he mentioned about the quality for the improvement of the lives of the people. Clear? Right? Tomorrow it may be a question and your answer should be our Dr. Amartya Sen. But otherwise all the four options here, everybody is really important. Clear? Now the answer is Dr. Amartya Sen. Let's go ahead to know more points regarding capability approach. Capability approach as given by Dr. Amartya Sen, it focuses directly on the quality of life that individuals are actually able to achieve. Right? So where I am now and where I can be. So right from here, I can take my quality to the higher levels. Clear? I am looking at the quality. This quality of life is analyzed in terms of the functionings and capability. He used the word functionings, not functioning. Deliberately he used it. I'll tell you. When it comes to functionings, these are the states of being and doing, such as being well nourished, having shelter, fine. I am living in a house. Right? So I have a shelter. Am I happy with this? But I have the capacity to move to larger house. So if I want to move to larger house, then I am trying to improve my quality of life. These are the functionings. When it comes to capability, it refers to set of valuable functionings that a person has effective access to. What is my capability? I have the capability to access to bigger car, bigger house, clear, bigger business. That is called the capability approach. Thus, a person's capability represents the effective freedom, my freedom, of an individual to choose between different functioning combinations, different kinds of life that she or he has a reason to value. That's my wish. If I want to move on motorbike, I will move. But if I have the capacity to move and purchase a bigger car, I can. And I have the capacity to choose between these two. That is called a capability approach. I am living in a house very happily, bigger house very happily. But I have the capacity to go for a bigger house. Though I have shelter, I am looking for a bigger shelter now. That is called a capability approach. Quality comes into the picture. Meaning in capability approach, Dr. Amartya Sen has mentioned about the quality of the life of the people that they can achieve. And he used two concepts called functionings, not functioning, functionings. Clear? Right? Literature wise also it is permitted, it seems. Okay? So functionings and capability. Fine? So this is about another important aspect we have discussed now. Let's go ahead. Now, expansion of employment opportunities. Right? Starting from the first 5-year plan, one of the long-term objectives is to achieve the full employment. We have discussed this point in the earlier class also. The first 5-year plan stated, I told you already, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 12 plans. After that, what happened? That we are going to discuss after this. Okay, in the next session. So, the first 5-year plan stated, maximum production and full employment. This will lead to rapid economic growth. That is the reason why our planning emphasized this from the first 5-year plan itself. The attainment of economic equality or social justice, which constitute the accepted objectives of planning under the present day conditions, are not really so many different ideas, but a series of related aims which the country must work for. What is the meaning of this? I'll make it simple for you. Today, at the beginning of the class, I have shown you page number 1. In the page number 1, we kept an heading called objectives of planning. And we have given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? If you want to, you can add more also. No problem. Now the point is that, the meaning of this second paragraph is that, can the development be achieved by reaching only one objective out of so many? No. This is a set of objectives. All must be achieved together combinedly. Then only the economic development is possible. But in order to simplify the concept of planning, we have divided it. That is the meaning of this. Meaning out of these so many objectives, if I achieve only one objective, then what is the use? Clear? So this is like, writing the examination. You have various exams, various subjects, polity, economy, geography, history, so many subjects are there. So one is reading science and technology perfectly, effectively. And you have the capacity to answer all the questions of science and technology. Does it serve the purpose without reading other subjects? No. That is the reason why the real development, real achievement will happen only when if you read all the subjects effectively and give a fantastic attempt to achieve the results. Then only it is called development, then only it is called success. Similarly, when it comes to the economic development of India, when we have listed out 8 objectives, if I achieve only one objective, that is not real development. I have to achieve all. Is that okay? So I am achieving full employment. Happy. But what about the social justice? What about the reduction of inequalities? If I don't achieve that one, that's over. Alright? And So if you don't increase your literacy rate, then what is the use? If you don't reduce IMR, MMR, then what is the use? That is the meaning of this. That is the reason why planning is comprehensive, just like how you are preparing for your examination. Clear? So comprehensive preparation of various subjects for the purpose of success. Clear? Am I clear? Now, from here, let's go ahead. Look at this. So again, we have a question. Please look at the question now. Right. Look at the question. You can answer the question very easily, I strongly believe. Poverty. Poverty is a major problem in India. Yes, yes. Which of the following is or true regarding positive measures for the removal of poverty in India? When you come across with these questions, just maintain cool. If you read something, some word which you are not aware of, or which you have not read effectively, don't worry. So the more cool you maintain, the more comfortable you will become, and you may get answer out of this. Clear? But regarding this we will see later. But when it comes to what is poverty, we will see later. But we know poverty is a major problem in India. But what are the positive measures that can be taken for the removal of poverty in India? Only two statements are given. Read the statements. Increase in investments. Does it remove the poverty? Yes. When you are increasing investments, you are bettering, you are improving your infrastructure, you are establishing, the new industries. For everything you require men, and they will get the job. Alright? Once a person gets job, he will start getting money and he can push himself out of the poverty. Over. That is the reason why increase in investments will lead to the removal of poverty in India, number one. That is the reason why large percentage of people have been pulled out of the poverty because of the continuous investments in India. Number two, increase in employment opportunities will be removing poverty in India. Yes or no? Obviously yes. Because we have more employment opportunities, we are working, we are earning, we are spending. So the economy is good. Then obviously, because the person is getting the money, because he is able to take care of himself and the family, then that is considered to be pulling themselves out of the poverty. Meaning, these are the two measures. One is with the investments. Second one is by increasing the employment opportunities. You can remove poverty from India. Till the time poverty will be a major problem in India. So what should be our answer here? Both yes and B, both the statements are right. So our answer should be obviously option 3. That's it. Any question, my dear friends, any question that you are encountering in the examination, don't get panicked. Clear? If you read carefully with a calm and cool mind, then you may get a correct answer and you will be getting a mark. Otherwise, what will happen? Don't worry. If you don't know the question, if you don't know the answer, just leave it. Nothing to worry about that. Clear? And don't start getting tensed over there. Alright? This is the answer. Over. Next. So next is modernization of economy. Directly I got a question here. In modernization of economy, which of the following statements is or true regarding modernization of economy? Again, two statements are given. Modernization brings in structural changes in economic activities. What is a structural change? What is a structural transformation? What is the structure of Indian economy? Three sectors: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Is that clear? So, with modernization, what is happening? From agriculture, people are moving to industries and tertiary sector services. Right? So, obviously, this is bringing in the structural changes. It is right. So, when it comes to statement B, it is bringing in institutional changes in economic activities. This is also correct. So, my answer should be both A and B. Very, 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 very important one. Please remember this one. Modernization will bring in certain changes. Changes in the structure of economy, changes in the institution of the economy. Both are possible because of the modernization. Structural means from agrarian you are moving to industry and services. From primary sector you are moving to secondary and tertiary sectors. From agriculture you are moving to industries and services. That is the structural change. When it comes to the institutional change, there is a change in the policy making. There is a change in the adoption of the technology. So the technology that was not available earlier, it is available now. With the technology, you can effectively utilize little resources for maximum productivity. I'll tell you what. For this, you need to have a policy. Policies are made by the government. This is the place where exactly the Prime Minister at the central level, or Chief Minister and ministers at the state level will come into the picture. Because these are the people who are associated with the people in the country, then they actually know what exactly is the problem. Right? So now the government will take a decision, that people should be provided with the 24 hours power supply. No electricity power cuts. No power cuts. Then obviously what will happen? People will enjoy this more. Clear? But at the same time, that should not cost you more to the government. Since people are using more, people will be paying more. So you have to adjust that revenue. Am I clear? But in order to take the decision, government has to come out with a policy, and the technicalities must be implemented by the respective technical people in the government. That is called institutional change. Is that okay? So modernization will bring in both structural as well as institutional changes in the economy, in the economic activities. Right? Hope you are getting this. So our answer is option 3. Both A and B are correct. Next, I have given you some points here. Structural change refers to the changes in the relative importance of the main sectors of an economy. Agriculture, industry and service and so on. And in the course of the economic growth, we were giving earlier, the lots of importance to agriculture. Now we are shifted to industries and services for the speedy development of the economy. Similarly, when it comes to institutional change, integrates technology, policy and behavior to make new practices and perspectives to become a typical part of how an agency operates. Technology provides means to decrease energy and resource use. Use little resources and give more productivity. This is how exactly the technology will be helpful. Clear? And that is the reason why the mechanization in agriculture is also supported. Mechanization in the industries is also supported, and that is the beauty of the technology. Similarly, policy provides directives to decrease energy and resource use. Clear? So by spending less energy, by spending less amount of resources, you must achieve the desired objectives, and that comes with the policy, and policies are made by the people who are there in the government. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important. Next. Right? So when it comes to the modernization, it's an attempt to raise the productivity of the economy in general and the sectors in particular. Yes or no? So when we were using, the bullocks, right, for the purpose of, plowing, right, and after we have introduced the so-called, mechanization, we started using tractors and other machines for the purpose of tilling, even for the, watering the plants, watering the crops also. So instead of, making all the efforts to see that, water will be moving to every plant, right? Right. So now you have a system called drip irrigation, right? And you have the system of sprinklers. So like this, you have various mechanisms so that you are effectively using the water also, and more water is not getting wasted, right? And each plant will be getting the required amount, and then you are switching it off. That is the beauty of the technology. And you need not go to every plant and check whether every plant received the water or not. That will be because of the technology that is available. Am I clear? Yes. Now, similarly, when it comes to, our agriculture. So though India was depending on agriculture, the agriculture productivity was low. But with the introduction of the Green Revolution in India during the Prime Ministership of Srimati Indira Gandhi, with all the wholehearted contributions by Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, so I have to salute him, the great personality. Green Revolution was introduced in India, and we started using high yielding variety seeds, HYV seeds, and we started using more water and more, these fertilizers. That led to the drastic improvement of the productivity. Productivity is nothing but yield per hectare. Yield per hectare, and the yield per hectare has been increased by more than 2 times. Right? So yield per hectare means the output that you are getting from 1 hectare. Is that okay? So what do you mean by 1 hectare? 1 hectare is nothing but how much? 2.5 acres. Clear? 2.5 acres. Right? Now, so this is regarding, the modernization. Now again, let's go ahead and look at this. Promotion of social justice and reduction of inequalities. And this is all possible by the government only, by effectively implementing DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy, as enshrined in the Constitution under Part 4 under Articles 36 to 51. Clear? So this is another objective. Next, if you go to the sustainable economic growth, I told you what is the meaning of the sustainable economic growth. So whatever you have achieved today, that should sustain. Economy should keep growing. So you should not have, lots of problems over there. Imagine if proper irrigation is not there for the crops, over that particular year is gone, and the country will face troubles like anything. That will lead to inflation. Similarly, if there is a power cut, if there is no proper power supply to our agriculture and industries, the production will come down, and that will affect our economy. Employment must be provided on a regular basis. If that is not provided, that will affect the economy very badly. That is the reason why the planning should be in such a way where all sectors will be given equal importance, and there should be a progress in every sector. Then only that is called sustainable economic growth. Am I clear? Next, self-reliance is, another important concept here. Self-reliance means reliance on domestic resources for economic development. We have our resources. Earlier we used to import so many things, but we are not importing now because we are exploiting our own resources for our own economic good, meaning India started relying on itself. Clear? It also refers to lessening the dependence on foreign aid, grants, loans, and thus doing away the dependence on foreign countries. It is not just importing. If you are taking grants from some other country, if you are taking loans from some other country, that is also affect the nation. And if you reduce taking the loans, grants, and dependence on other countries, that is called self-reliance. We have the resources and we are using our own resources. Clear? The fourth 5-year plan adopted self-reliance as the main objective of the planning. Please write down. Clear? Which 5-year plan has adopted the concept of the self-reliance? Your answer should be fourth 5-year plan. First 5-year plan, second 5-year plan, third 5-year plan. After third 5-year plan, from 66 to 69, we got rolling plans. I will tell you the next class. Then comes the fourth plan. So you have to remember the plan period. Every plan period you have to remember. Clear? In this case, it is the fourth 5-year plan. You know, that is from 69 to 74. Okay? But we'll discuss all these things. So the fourth plan aimed at achieving self-sufficiency in production of the food grains. When we are talking about the self-sufficiency and self-reliance, there is a difference. I'll tell you what is this. The fifth 5-year plan focused on earning sufficient foreign exchange through export promotion and import substitution. This is another very, very, very important point. It was a question also earlier. Which 5-year plan focused on earning sufficient foreign exchange through export promotion and import substitution? Your answer should be fifth 5-year plan. Clear? India could achieve self-sufficiency in food grain production by the end of the fifth 5-year plan because of the objective, and we became self-sufficient. Meaning, what do you mean by self-sufficient? Whatever is the amount of food grains that is required for the Indians, we need not depend on any country, and we are producing on our own, and we are self-sufficient. Right? So there is no concept of imports in self-sufficiency. No concept of imports in self-sufficiency because we have produced everything. But self-reliance is different. In self-reliance, we are producing our own goods and services. We have reduced our dependence on other countries, but we have not stopped the imports. In self-reliance, imports are there, but because we are self-reliant, we are in a position to pay for our import bills. That is called self-reliance. Please make yourself very clear with the difference between self-sufficiency and self-reliance. Clear? Right? Next, let's go ahead. One more question I have given for you. Which of the following experiences the imports? Self-reliance or self-sufficiency? Both are none of the above. Just now I told you there is no imports in self-sufficiency. We are sufficient. Why imports? Right? So then the answer is not B. Then the answer is not this. Right? But in self-reliance we have imports. Clear? That is the reason why answer is not this. Then answer should be option A, option 1. Clear? That is the reason why if you read the subject more, you will understand more. That will helpful for you to answer better in the examination. Clear? So here is the answer, option A, option 1. Similarly, I have given the difference between self-reliance and self-sufficiency. In self-sufficiency, the country produces all needs and does not import. Self-reliance means the country has the resources to pay for its imports, and imports are normal part of economic activities. Hope you got the reference. Very, 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 very important. This is how you have to read economy, my dear close friends. Next. So you have to go for the economic stability. Right? What do you mean by economic stability? See that there is a control of the inflation. Right? And you should also control this unemployment. So meaning you need to keep on investing. You need to keep on increasing national income, per capita income, employment opportunities. Clear? So then that will lead to economic stability. Inflation disturbs the economic stability. Is that okay? Next. So meaning of the strategy we have already discussed. Simple point actually when I say strategy, how exactly you perform on the ground. How exactly you perform on the ground. How well you write the examination in the examination hall. That is a strategy. So whatever you are learning here, that you have to implement all the strategies in the examination hall. Clear? Development strategy refers to the choice of instruments, policy and the course of action from among the available alternatives. Clear? Yesterday I gave you the examples also. So the second 5-year plan set the enunciation of a strategy for the first time by prescribing heavy capital goods based industrial development. I told you already, second 5-year plan has given highest importance to heavy industries because Nehru believed and PC Mahalanobis believed that only heavy industries will lead to the industrialization and that will lead to the economic development. Clear? And this strategy is also known as the Nehru-Mahalanobis model. Clear? The strategy laid down the foundation for industrialization, and this was considered to be the basic condition for the rapid economic growth. Clear? This we have already discussed. Right? Next. Next, when it comes to evolution of the Indian development strategy, the first 5-year plan did not have any strategy as such. Clear? Just now I told you the concept of strategy came into the picture from second 5-year plan, and these strategies we started implementing second 5-year plan and we are continuing. But when it comes to our evolution of our planning system, first 5-year plan did not have any specific strategy as such. Second 5-year plan did have the heavy industry capital goods based on industrialization strategy. Since India adopted the mixed economy model, the existence of public sector and private sector provided the way for the economic growth and welfare. This is another advantage. This is another strategy. In such a setup, state is supposed to play a positive role in economic activities. I told you, from the domination, the state should move to the cooperation. The role of the government was designed to provide the commanding heights to the economy and also to influence the composition and the direction of economic activities towards the establishing a socialist pattern of society. Because of all these things, we are saying that we started adopting strategies in India starting from second 5-year plan. Even now also we are implementing various strategies. Clear? Look at this. So the development of the strategy has been focusing on a dominant role of the state till the advent of the economic reforms of 19th. Right? That is the reason why the domination of the state, the government continued up to 1990s. Clear? In 1991, we have come across with the economic reforms that changed the role of the government from domination to cooperation and coordination. So subsequent plans were designed with the minimal role of the state and greater role for the private sector and the market. So because we have opened the economy, so we have liberalized, privatized and globalized in order to attract these investments from the private sector. So you have to make your plans to suit the needs of those private sector people. Clear? So from domination you became accommodative. From domination, so you have become, supportive. Clear? Thus the development strategy has been designed to meet the issues and challenges of the country, and also to incorporate dynamism and the decentralization of the policy frameworks. Very, 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 very important. Clear? This is about the, you know um, objectives of planning. We have discussed every objective at length, along with the analysis, along with the, discussion on certain questions. Clear? Please follow very carefully. And one more time I would like to remind you that please write down the notes and revise the notes on your own. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next session.